With the advancement of technology, virtual reality has developed immensely over the years, as it begins to introduce itself more and more into our society, changing the way we experience games, education, and health. What is virtual reality? It is an interactive 3D computer-generated environment. Despite the fact the virtual reality is computer software, it is very immersive to the point where it changes the way users behave and think. We have all likely experienced virtual reality in the forms of games, whether it be apps on your mobile device or video games on a high-definition TV. Many have been considered very immersive, though not as much as the virtual reality technologies we see being developed today, like the Oculus Rift or Virtuix Omni. But, virtual reality isn't strictly for games. It has been used for education, healthcare, military, scientific visualization, and much more. So, is virtual reality a good thing or a bad thing? It's predicted that by the 2030s, virtual reality will be totally realistic and compelling, so we will spend most of our time playing it. We will become what people call virtual humans. Virtual reality will become a form of escapism. To start off, a positive effect of virtual reality is that people can relieve stress and escape their problems by entering virtual reality. This can offer people the comfort that they may need in troubling times, and could be considered a form of healing. For example, virtual reality used in healthcare has been used for exposure therapy, PTSD, phobias, and anxiety, as well as a way to allow medical personnel to engage in training scenarios in an interactive environment. A study even showed decrease in PTSD levels for many veterans after trying virtual reality therapy. Also, virtual simulations can help prepare young people for their futures, by giving some kind of job experience. Say someone wants to become a surgeon, but they aren't sure what the atmosphere will be like, or if they'd be able to handle it. They could do surgical procedures in virtual reality, thus, preparing them for a job as a surgeon. However, virtual reality is not only for surgical use. Virtual reality can also be used for non-surgical ways as well, like a diagnostic tool. Now that we've discussed the benefits of virtual reality, what about the drawbacks? We will focus mainly on the psychological and physical effects of virtual reality. Generally, the idea of a life lived online is largely seen as dangerous and unhealthy. We mentioned virtual escapism earlier. What if some users take it too far? University professor Jeremy Benson, who had studied virtual reality for 15 years, claims that it could change the way someone thinks and behaves. They could end up neglecting friends, family, and social commitments, as well as becoming influenced by the simulation. This could be especially disastrous if those simulations are violent. Financially, the virtual reality technologies will likely be very popular, and attract many types of people. So, there's no doubt that it'll be popular with people who are looking for more immersive games and experiences. This means that the business of companies who make video games will become less successful, as people are flocking to the new virtual reality games. This is an example of how this new technology may negatively affect the success of many businesses, and workers may lose their jobs. Even the immersiveness of new virtual reality can have bad psychological consequences. One user of the Oculus Rift even said that he knew he was in a virtual environment, but was still afraid. Even though virtual reality is nothing more than a false reality, users still suspend belief and accept it as a real environment. Even though everything that happens in virtual reality is fake, the emotions that are triggered from these experiences are real. Therefore, virtual reality can even cause trauma for some people. Physically, it can have negative effects as well. It can cause users to gain an increased heart rate, dizziness, nausea, eye strain, and headaches by sensory conflict, when our senses don't correspond to what they are experiencing in the virtual reality. For example, roller coasters and racing games can be unsettling, since the user's eyes thinks the body is moving while their ears are disagreeing. This may be why Oculus Rift and Samsung's Gear VR headsets' health and safety warnings recommend that children ages 12 and below should not use any virtual reality headset, while people ages 13 and up should take a 10-minute break every half hour, and should not operate any machinery if they feel loud after using the headset. That summarizes a few pros and cons of virtual reality on our society. But what do we think? We believe that virtual reality will be very helpful and widely used in the future, and we are looking forward to seeing it evolve. But, it should be used in moderation, like only using it for a small amount of time per day so players don't become too attached to the simulation, or using it only at home, as to avoid nausea from moving. Also, that people with things like mental disorders refrain from using them, unless it is for treatment or therapy. In the end, virtual reality will definitely continue to grow to be more and more immersive in the future. While there are many benefits to this evolution, there are also many drawbacks that should be considered, and we've mentioned a few of them. Virtual reality will have, and already has, quite a large effect on our society.